We are starting math. All right, so who remembers, we touched on this on Friday, that if you go from larger to smaller, you do one thing, and if you go from smaller to larger, you do another mathematical answer. What is it from larger to smaller? You do what? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Cole. That's right. And then smaller to larger, what do you do? Grant. You divide. Okay, with that in mind, 6 pints equals how many cups? 6 pints equals how many cups? Munchine. 6 pints equals how many cups? Owen.
6.
Jonathan.
12.
12. With that said, we have 6 to 12. Is that smaller to larger or larger to smaller? Grant. Small to large. So does that mean we're going to multiply or are we going to divide? Gabe. Look up on your little handy dandy box on the top. It tells you if you go from smaller to larger, what are you going to? Yeah, that's interesting because larger to smaller. Let me look. I think my answer book is incorrect. So large to small to large is divide. In my book, it says 6 times.
12 cups. Isn't that 12 cups?
Oh, how many? Okay, so let me get this straight. Okay, I am doing this incorrectly. That is the answer. All right, let us move back to that. Mrs. Reed should have looked at that. So it is times 2. And then you get 6 times 2 equals 12.
It's not 12.
It says write how many of the smaller units are in one of the larger units. Work the problem. In the problem, divide the given number 6 by the special number 2.
This is confusing.
You may wish to copy, demonstrate such problem. Sample problems. Let's come back to this. Mrs. Reed needs to look at this closer. So I want you, while I'm looking at this, to do number 2 on your own. They are division problems. Yes.
Are we turning this in?
We shall see. No, we're not going to turn it, because you're going to keep it in your book. We're going to work on it together. All right, now let's work on the story problems. Haley had 48 stickers. She divided them equally between her two friends. How many stickers did each friend receive? What kind of problem are we working on here? Kind of tells you. She divided them equally between her two friends. Tessa. Yes. So what is your problem going to look like? Yep, 48 divided by 2. So you're going to do long division in the workspace. And then in the answer, what is going to be involved, or what needs to be included in your answer? Emmy? Stickers. Helen?
24 stickers.
24 stickers. Mr. Peterson needed 10 chairs for his Sunday school class. If 5 students volunteered to help, how many chairs did each student carry? What kind of problem are we talking about here? Mr. Peterson needed 10 chairs for his Sunday school class. If 5 students volunteered to help, how many chairs did each student carry? What kind of problem are we going to be working on? Ella? Yes. What is it going to look like? What is the problem going to look like? What are the numbers? 10 divided by what? There you go. 10 divided by 5 is your answer. Then you need to work that out. And then what is going to be in our answer? Christian?
Chair?
Yes. Chairs. Emma, what is the answer? 2 chairs is correct. All right, let us go to the next page, and we're going to work on some problems on the board. So if you want to work on problems, have your markers ready. Sam, Helen, Jeremiah. How do you say that number?
3,413.
Very good. how would you say your number?
1,542.
Very good. You need to, yeah, you're correct. Keep going. You're doing great. I am going to. Yeah. Good. And how would you say that?
37,103.
Very good. Jeremiah, check, okay, 0. 92 is correct. So you guys carry the 4. So what is 6 times 9? And then you have to add 4, right? So what is 6 times 8? Or 6 times 9, you're on, right? Yeah. The 4 is correct. So then you have to carry, you have 8, I mean you have 4, so you have to add the 4, which turns it into a what? There you go. And then what are you going to carry? So you got to change the 6. There you go. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 5.
41.
Very good. There you go. Good job. And then how would you say that number, Jeremiah?
31,892.
Good job. Bravo. Now I smell something.
It smells
Let's hope it's coming from outside and not inside. That's my.
No, you're having a bonfire inside.
All right, everybody. Let's do some division. And then we're going to come back and work on Mrs. Reed. That was interesting.
I am voice.
That was interesting timing. Oh, golly. I tell you, never a dull moment in third grade, friends. Strange smell. Ella and Luke. And I hope you all are working on these as we go, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It is definitely, someone's burning something. It smells smoke. Holy campfire. It smells good, actually.
What?
No one's burning their clothes. It is burning.
I
You guys are burning it. It's so
I
wet.
hope nobody's
Ooh, Ellen, I need a new marker. All right, friends, I don't know why we're talking. We should be working on our math. We need to be working along with our friends in the math, on the math problem. That is all we're doing right now.
My check is probably too small.
Can you all see? Yeah, the check is very teeny tiny,
I don't know.
but it is correct.
What is that?
It's 11 times 6 equals 66 plus 4 equals 70. So
No,
70
not
and
the
70, check, check.
And this. That's supposed to be 9.
How many times is 6 go in 7? 1 times 6 is? Take down the 1, take down the 0, you get 10. How many times does 6 go into 10? 1. 10 minus 6 is? Can you take 6 into 4? Remainder 4. Very good.
I'm angry. Okay,
So, how many, you forgot to write, well, how many times does 7 go into 28? Yes. There you go. And so you don't have a remainder because this comes out equal. Little baby numbers. So her check is 14 times 7 is 98. That is correct. 98, 98. All right. I want you all to work on section 6 by yourselves.
Oh. Okay. See how this goes.
Please put your mask up. Maya. M-I is Maya. Good question. Turn around, face it, front. Keep on around. Yes. What is what? Oh, month, yes. I read your side didn't see. Yeah, M-I is mile. Oh, month is usually 1 year, yeah. Put your thumbs up when you are done. Okay. All right. How many ounces are in a pound? I want to make sure you're getting these correct. Just say it out loud.
16.
16 is correct. How many cups in 1 pint? 2. 2. How many pounds equals 1 ton? 2,000. How many quarts equals 1 gallon?
4.
Good. How many months equals 1 year?
12.
12. How many pints equals 1 quart?
2.
2. Very good. How many quarts equals 1 peck?
8.
How many feet equals 1 mile?
5,280.
Nice. How many pecks are in a bushel?
4.
Very good. All right, who would like to come up and do the mystery? Solve the mystery. Wensheen. Then we're going to circle back and do, Mrs. Reed was missing an important part to the new equation. What is the mystery? Number or letter and number? Both. So do we know first? Now what are you going to do though? There you go. Carry the equal down. All right. That is 1 there so we know. Okay. So what is n? N equals what?
10.
All right. Nope, you're not done. So n equals 10. There you go. There we go. Put the little X or little checks. So what is the answer? N equals what?
10.
And then the answer is 15. Yeah, remember to go the final step. So you find out that N is 10, so you have to go back up and finish the equation. And you have to get 15 for both. We know that this is 15. You have to make sure this side equals this side, right? They have to be symmetrical. They have to be both equal. Symmetrical? I'm a symmetrical kind of person. I like everything to be symmetrical. All right, now we'll go back to converting the measures. How many pints go into a cup? How many pints go into a cup? Owen? 2. Okay, so we know the number is 2 that we're working with. So think about that. So 2, what are we going to do there? Are we going from smaller to larger? So what does that mean we are working with? I mean, we're working from larger to smaller. So we're going to multiply, correct? Because a pint, is that smaller or larger than a cup?
Equal.
No, they're not equal. 6 pints is larger than 1 cup, correct? Yes. So we are talking about a multiplication, and we know that a pint goes into a cup 2 times, so you're going to multiply 6 times 2 equals what? 6 times 2 equals what? 12. So 12 cups. 9 feet larger or smaller than a yard? 9 feet is larger or smaller than a yard?
Larger.
9 feet is larger or smaller than a yard? Smaller. How many feet are in a yard? 3. So we are doing division, and you are dividing 9 divided by 3 equals what? 3. 16 quarts is larger or smaller than a gallon? 16 quarts, larger or smaller than a gallon?
Smaller.
So you're going to do what? Divide or multiply?
Divide.
Yes, so we're going to divide. How many quarts are in a gallon?
4.
4 is correct. So you're going to divide 16 divided by 4 equals?
4.
Correct. Five feet is larger or smaller than an inch? 5 feet is larger or smaller than an inch. That's the first thing you need to figure out. Smaller to large or larger to small, because that tells you, are you multiplying or dividing? Tyson.
It is, I think, larger to smaller.
That's correct. So you're going to do what?
Multiply.
Good. How many feet in an inch? How many feet? How many inches in a feet? In a foot? M. 12. So you are going to multiply what? 5 times 12. So we're converting. You need to convert. The first thing you need to do is determine, am I going smaller or larger? That's going to tell me if I'm going to divide or multiply. And then you need to figure out the difference between, or you need to figure out the number between smaller to large, meaning what is a pint, the cup? How many are in that? What is the difference? Converting that. A pint to a cup is 12. And then you go on. We already determined if you're going to multiply or divide. First thing you're going to do is determine if it's smaller or larger. That is going to tell you if you're going to multiply or divide. Then you're going to go back to the number and look at the number 1 or A, pint to cup. How many pints are in the equation in the cup? Converting. 12. 6 times 12. Does that make sense? No. This is converting.
I get it. Sort of.
No, we're gonna, oh, we are running out of time. We're gonna work with this some more. So the first thing you're gonna decide is what? What is the very first, it's kind of like solving the mystery. Do what you know. What do you know when you look at A? 6 pints is larger or smaller than a cup. 6 pints, larger or smaller than a cup. Luke?
Larger.
Yes. So then that means you're going to do what? You go from large to small, you're going to what? Multiply or divide? Jeremiah?
Multiply.
Yes. So then you have 6. That is the number that you have. So then you're going to multiply 6 times 2. And that gets you 12. So 9 feet is larger or smaller than a yard. 9 feet, larger or smaller than a yard. 1 yard Olivia,
Smaller to larger.
which means you're going to what? Multiply or divide?
Divide.
Good. So we have the 9. How many feet go into a yard? Christian.
3.
Good. So you're going to divide 9 divided by 3 equals 3. So the first thing you have to figure out, are we going larger to smaller? That tells you what equation you're going to have. Then you have to convert the forms of measurement, which is either gallon, quart, feet to inches, pint to cup. So you have to know these conversions. You have to know these different measurements. How many pounds goes into 1 ton? So now you're understanding why you have to memorize these, because they're coming into play. It's called converting. So larger to small is what? Multiply or divide? Larger to small.
Multiply.
Smaller to larger.
Divide.
So that's the first thing you need to determine. Am I multiplying or am I dividing? And then you have to go through and go back and figure out the difference between a pint or a cup, or a foot and a yard, or quart and a gallon, or a foot and an inch. You have to figure out what is that conversion, and then you work out the problem. So we will be working on this more. This is a new concept. And with that takes some time. What does Mrs. Rita always say when you're learning something new? You have to do it what? Just once? One and done? No. What do you need to do? Over and over and over. Especially with math. Repetition. So what I would recommend you all doing is just going over this little block on top of 161 and going over it until you get the whole flow of it. There's steps. The first step is determining if it's multiplication or division. The next step is finding out what is the converted measurement between the measurements, meaning the foot and the inch, a quart and a gallon, a foot and a yard, a pint and a cup. And then when you know that, you go back and you solve the equation. Is it multiplication? Is it division? So now you have your two numbers. It gives you the first number. The second number is the difference between the two forms of measurement or weight. Does that help? Does that make sense? Go through the steps. This is something that you're going to have to go over, and that I would recommend you doing it at home tonight, going over these steps. 3 steps. What is the first step? Smaller to large is what? Small to large is what? Divide. Larger to small is? All right, then you go back and you figure out the difference between the two forms of measurement. Convert that by multiplying or dividing that converted to the number is already given, which is 6 pints, 9 feet, 16 quarts, and 5 feet. They give you the first number that you're working with. You have to figure the second number so you can figure out the equation, whether it be multiplication or division. Clear as mud or clear?
Clear.
Maybe a little murky? That's okay. It's a new concept. This is what I want you to do. Get out your planners. what I would do is go over these steps because it's very important that you understand these steps. It's just like the mystery letter. There are particular steps that you have to do. Math is all about making steps. You have to follow the steps, and if you follow the steps, you will get it. But you have to go over this. So please, tonight, go over these steps until it's not clear as mud, until it is just clear. Okay? Raise your hand if you got it. Do you have it in your planner?
Yes.
All right. Now, what I need you to do is clear